Hello, how are we doing?
Hi. Good. You look pretty.
Thank you. This is a shirt I
I like
got
your
from
shirt.
Bella for Christmas, so I told her I would podcast in it. That was cute.
It looks lovely. I like it.
Yes.
I like it a
Were
lot.
you talking to Cody?
Yes.
No
He's
go on
leaving
the
to go work
joining us
out.
today.
No, no.
That's all right.
He's
Well, maybe he can add his 2 cents after the fact. Just leave a comment and tell us where we went off, Cody.
I like it. I
How was
like
your
it.
week?
And Anthony, you look good too. Sorry, I didn't mean to leave
Thanks.
you out.
He's pretty.
You're pretty too. How are you
Yeah, I like
guys?
her. I like her. She straightened her hair. It looks all pretty.
Mm.
So
I
long
know,
now.
right?
It's getting,
I didn't realize how long her
Cool.
hair was because she's usually wavy and curly.
well, I
Uh-huh.
mean, it wasn't all that long ago that I even cut it, but I needed to cut off
Yeah.
this, yeah.
It looks good
But
though.
lo and behold, it grows
It
back
And
looks
nicely
Rachel
good.
still.
and Rachel cut my hair, which is why I look so stylish.
Nice. Dude, you're good. Cody had me cut his hair for like the first year of our marriage, and then he's like, I think it's best if you don't. Like, yeah, me too.
I had an awesome barber, but like he's great, but like why pay that much when Rach can just do the same thing?
Yeah,
Fair
for
enough.
real.
Yeah. Anyways,
I agree.
um,
Why do you keep doing that? Why?
I don't know.
It's like when you take pictures, you always cut off the top of the head. I don't know why you always do that. Like Emily, all of
This
Rachel's
should have been
pictures
my
are
job.
like this, right? They're never full head. They're always like cut off the top of the head. So we're gonna do that so we can see our heads.
I think I do
I
the same thing.
I'll scoot down a little.
we need help, okay? We need help, clearly.
Framing.
Anyways,
I always
okay.
go too low, so it looks like I'm like, right,
Welcome back to our little white picket fence.
little white
Today,
picket fence.
we are going to talk about Elon Musk, just because he's so
Elon
prevalent in our
Musk.
world right now. Um,
Yeah,
like
seems like
there's
he kind of just appeared and I don't know, took over.
yeah. Like we've been hearing about him for a while, but now it's like
Mhm.
you can't not pay attention to him, or you shouldn't not.
Yeah, shouldn't not pay attention. Yes.
Thank you. Anyways, yeah. So
Also,
being super bad. Me and Anthony got these today. We are not
Mine's done.
doing good today, but we're being
We're
bad
doing
together.
fine. It's one right.
as long as you're doing it together, it is all good.
Doesn't matter.
We're
Sorry, Elena asking for more
oh,
direction. We're like
I thought it was Anthony like saying it about the Red Bull. It's like it
Oh no.
doesn't matter.
No, I was seeing Elena asked which bowl was the water bowl, and they're both empty. So I said doesn't
Oh,
matter, so she can fill either
use
bowl.
either one.
but also it doesn't matter if you mess up sometimes. You just do better next time, right? Okay, there we go.
Right?
Okay, so
Right.
regarding Elon Musk, I
Elon Musk.
um have been trying to do a little bit of like just learning about him. So I'll share the little bits that we've been kind of learning recently. Do you know anything about his how the hell did
Did you
Enzo get out here? No. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Do you know anything about Elon's like upbringing, childhood, where he's from?
A little bit in Africa, right?
Yeah. You know
Um,
what was going on in Africa when he was in Africa?
Part-time.
Apartheid and all sorts of fun things. There's
Yeah.
a lot going on.
Yeah. And his family benefited greatly from that apartheid. So
Well,
I didn't even know what apartheid was. I just heard apartheid South Africa, apartheid South Africa. I'm like, why should I
uh-huh.
care about this? And then I found out what it was. They stole the land from the natives and stole everything from them, jobs, everything, and just the white people benefited. And it's like horrible. So you hear his family gained their wealth through apartheid South Africa and emerald mines that they kind of prove was slave labor.
it's like
Yeah.
somebody right now being in a part of Gaza that they were just handed because they were the better heritage, like it should be for them, and then them benefiting from that. It's like you it's hard to see that as like a
As a benefit, as a
yeah, well,
positive.
it's clearly a
Yeah.
benefit, but a benefit that that should mean you are above or I don't know, Like you would have never had what you had without that, and you don't acknowledge it. You feel as though you are
Well,
self-made.
that's true and not true at the same time. Like,
Yeah.
none of us can help where we were born, the families we were born into,
No.
like, and we will all hopefully take where we were born and build on that. So I'm I may not agree with like how their money was made. Um, I'm glad that Elon didn't like continue that. That's
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
Elon actually doesn't say a whole lot about his dad, but it's clear that he was not a huge fan of his father's. Sounds like uh he was a very tough man to love,
Yeah.
I
We
guess.
were just watching a
So,
story about Elon. He does say that he was bullied a lot when he was younger, and there was a particular bullying story that I was just listening to where he was bullied so bad in like a stairwell, like he was put in the hospital, and then
for
after
a
he got
week.
out of the hospital, his dad like berated him for an hour, and he, says
Yeah.
this is why I am the way I am or whatever. But if you look at his dad actually is on record talking about that incident, so he spoke about it too, and according to him, um his son was like he wasn't bullied because he was the smartest and everybody and the shortest and people were like, oh, screw you. It was that he treated other people like they were dumb. He thought he was smarter than. So according to
I've
him,
wondered,
in this instance, the kid who he was belittling, something like somebody had passed away recently, and he was calling this kid stupid. So, like, his dad wasn't even on his side necessarily because he has always seen himself as some sort of super genius, but his grades actually don't tell that story.
well, um, I'm I don't mean to like
No,
defend
it's
here.
good. That's
But
good. That's what I'm here for. I only know the little bit that I know. If you know something more, please share.
well, just to add more perspective,
Yeah.
I don't I wasn't there. I don't know. I
Me
have
neither.
known I'm thinking of a specific one right now, but people who could be considered geniuses when they were growing up, right? And their grades definitely don't reflect it. They get completely bored by what's going on. They don't do it, and then they like ace all the tests.
Yeah, like the tests don't really
It's
speak to
crazy. So
everybody's genius for sure. I get that.
yeah, so I wouldn't go on Elon by his grades. I'd go by like what he accomplishes and what he like the big dreams he has and like
Mhm.
the way he gets it done. It's kind of super interesting. I followed him just before he went on Joe Rogan for the first time and
Okay.
kind of popped onto the screen. I was just like incredibly impressed with um just kind of the way his mind worked
Hmm.
because he like whether he was self-made or not, he came close to like losing everything several times.
Yeah.
Like he
Can't
came
deny
down
that
to the
he
wire.
he is smart. Very smart.
He's incredibly smart, but he put everything on the line when he like when he had a I keep saying dream, but like he had a plan and he wanted to make something work. It's like it became an obsession, and that is just how like I've wondered if he might be like on the spectrum. You know what I mean? Because
Oh,
some social
definitely.
skills get
He socially,
pushed
yes.
aside, and like
I mean,
it's
I'm not a professional,
he
but
may
like,
not be the best socially, and um, but when you get an idea in your head and you're like, I can make this work, and I anyway, I just think
I do
he
that too.
has to
I get
get
it.
it done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
Um,
he like puts everything into it, and
yeah.
so
I
far it's
I
worked out.
I put that underneath because I was trying to like say the good and the bad,
Yeah.
like what are the good and
Uh-huh.
the bads here? Like,
Yeah.
um, and like he seems to care about the planet, right? Like that's something that we've heard said about him, and that
Yeah.
he's figured it out. Like he's figured out all these things, but it seems that he knows better than us all somehow. And that is where I strongly disagree. Like I think
There's always
his
got to be room for discussion.
yeah, and I don't think his leaves room for that. Like he really feels like
Superior.
he is just the smartest man in any room. He knows better than everybody. And while you
Yeah.
might be very smart, like as soon as you go to that
Nobody knows
place,
everything.
yeah. That's the dumbest thing about you. That's so dumb. Because it's like it kind of becomes closed-minded. All of a sudden, you figured it out. There is no room for improvement. And that is
Yep.
that scares me about him for sure. Are you do
Yeah.
you have any thoughts here?
Well, you kind of reminded me of that quote about like how someone said like Elon wants to save he wants the desperately for the world to be saved, but only if he could be the one to save it.
Yeah, that's
Like,
Sam Altman.
That sounds.
Sam Altman. Elon desperately wants the world to be saved, but only if he can be the one to save it. Like it's obvious that
Might agree with that.
you what?
I might agree with that.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
Like it's um but like one thing, because we were watching stuff about him that kind of cracks me up. Another one of those where it's like, I'm just so right. And when that video of him talking about how the advertisers pulling out of X or Twitter because of
Mhm.
his actions killed the company. And he's like,
Mhm.
like it'll be your fault if this company dies because you're not advertising my product because I'm the best. I'm the only one that can make this happen, you know? And then he's like turns around and then sues them after the fact.
like,
So
Yeah.
says, don't advertise. Go fuck yourself. And then later on says they colluded to not advertise. They're destroying the company.
yeah, no, like
No.
you have freedom to do what you want, as does everybody else. And so
Everybody.
your actions are not free of consequences. And if the consequences are them pulling out, it is not their fault that your company did, would have not
Yeah.
survived.
It's never the consumer's fault when a
Yeah,
business dies. It's
I don't know the 100% validity of this, but there was something about him. The reason why he really bought Twitter
Twitter.
was when he started like starting to side with like right wingers,
Yeah.
starting to be like on their side, and they were like, the woke mind virus. Like people they're so woke, so they're banning us from like saying truth and stuff like that. So he then, because they were his friends, and socially, I really feel like he needs real good friends. Like someone to say, literally, like, dude, like that's a
Yeah.
lot of good, but you need someone who really loves you to say too much, too
check
far
you.
sometimes to check you. Yeah, like I think he really needs some really good friends. But he bought it for like his new friends essentially. Like, cause he's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I can fix that.
Yeah. That's
I don't know. I just
interesting.
thought that was
I've never
interesting.
thought about it that way.
Yeah.
No, that is interesting.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so
It
what I
is.
was referring to, Elon Musk's X social media platform has sued advertisers claiming they conspired to boycott the site and deprive it of revenue after he told them to go fuck themselves and not advertise.
Yeah. Like you can be so bold because you so believe in but like I don't know.
Yeah.
He feels like he's above to me. Like he's
A little
just
entitled to
like he's
things.
very entitled. But he believes he comes from like somewhere lower. And the more I learn about him, I'm like that does not align. Like you,
I
especially
think
coming from even just where you or I came from, and I would consider both of us privileged. And that's me being one of 10 children who never had her own room and never, you know what I mean? And I still feel
still
privileged, but I
privileged.
know that so if I'm privileged, your ability to be all over the world and literally in South Africa have the most expensive house out of everybody. Like you were never the bottom. This is not a story of someone crawling to the top.
Well,
And
I
I
don't know if
think he
he's
likes to
talking
paint that.
about I don't know if he's talking about like that period of time. I think he's talking more about the times when he's like slept on people's couches and not had a permanent place to live and put everything he owns into a business and like
You don't
had
think
nothing
that
extra.
type
Like
of
that.
that still comes from a place of privilege? Like because you
It
have to
does,
have
but
a
it's
certain amount
hard
of
as hell.
something to fall on to do that, and nobody who depends on you to do that.
Hmm.
Like, cause I as
Well,
a mother could never. I as a like it reminds me
well,
of the
just
story of this girl who there's some I don't even know his name, but there's some influencer who everybody was saying like, wow, that was amazing. He went to New York like to build himself up. He did this. He was sleeping on couches. He was blah 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 blah.
Mhm.
But he was already a father. The baby mama was back in Florida raising the
Yeah.
kid, doing, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you can't do that unless you're a certain person. And it's normally like, I
Well,
don't know, like
just to throw in here, like
that's okay.
I am not Elon Musk. I have never done what Elon Musk has
Or
done.
Elon Musk.
I know we're all Elon Musk. No, I feel like in a way we did it. Me and Cody did it back in the day when we had little small children and we put everything we had into our business. And I wasn't
Yes.
buying new clothes. And it's like it's not the same, but it kind of like
Mhm.
I wasn't buying new clothes. I was like on a strict budget. I was putting stuff back at the grocery store because I couldn't afford it. And I was
Yeah.
like, it was we poured everything we had into starting that little business
Yeah.
and sacrificed a ton. And I still look back on those years as like the most influential in my life and the most like I feel like we scraped up from nothing. And we did have like safety nets. My parents wouldn't have let us starve and his parents wouldn't have let us go homeless. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm. We have
we
certain safety
still
nets that
we
most people
do,
don't have,
but
and
it's
he
still
definitely had that.
but it still takes so much self-discipline and
It's
it's so
admirable
hard.
and it's
So
important,
I
and I
can
could agree with
see
that. Yes.
so I can be okay with him saying like there were times I had like nothing. I gave everything I had
Yeah.
and like I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with
He
that
probably
too.
did.
I just
Yeah.
yeah. Not everybody can even do that though. Like so many
Not
people are
everybody
in
can do that.
survival mode. So to put yourself like you've never really lived the life of like the average person. So you couldn't really come from nothing because you don't even understand what nothing is. But either way, yes, what you
But
did
do
is
we
great.
criticize him
And what you
for
did,
like doing what he could? Like
no.
I'll
It's just
never
a lack of
experience the same things
understanding, I
that
don't
other
think, that
people
he
will.
has or could has. So why
Maybe.
he thinks he could speak for everybody when he's really only
You
experienced
definitely can't
above a
speak for
certain
everybody.
line. Like he's only ever lived above a certain line. So
Hmm.
I don't know. He makes me really look at like the book 1984 and I see him as like him and anybody who he believes is worthwhile is the party. And then what was everybody else called where they basically are not important?
The dang it, what were they called?
I
Prole?
never read the
The
book.
prole.
Trolls. Trolls.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
Like there's
anyways.
as soon as you create an us versus them,
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
good. It's not good.
So I have a little quick like run through of like where I've like just to give an overview. So we say Elon grew up in apartheid South Africa, and
Mhm.
then from there he went to Canada. And I think that was at the time that I guess they were fighting apartheid, and him and his brother really didn't want to be, called to the army. It was the safer time to go finish school elsewhere. And they had the
Yeah.
money, and that's where his mom was from. So they were able to just get up out of there and go to
Skedaddle.
Canada, which most people who were there were not able to do, or whatever you choose to do. But then from Canada, he and his brother ended up coming to America. And this is where I want to show you that clip.
Elon had applied and been accepted to Stanford University's graduate program. But the issue lies in the fact that Elon Musk never enrolled in Stanford University, thus making his student visa of no use if he was not attending school or going to college. Before making the decision not to enroll into Stanford, he and his brother Kimball Musk began taking on some internships in Silicon Valley in the up-and-coming tech world. Kimball Musk has publicly admitted that during the time that he and Elon were working these internships in Silicon Valley, he and Elon were 100% undocumented workers in the United States.
In fact, when they did fund us, they realized that we were illegal immigrants Well, I mean,
Yes, we were.
I'd say it's a gray area.
Yeah, yes, we were. We were illegal immigrants. We were sleeping in the office.
Kimball would state years before Elon was involved in politics that they were undocumented immigrants working in Silicon Valley. And I personally do not think that anyone would have actually cared about this blip in Elon Musk's story if he would have not aligned himself with the political party who regularly spew so much hatred towards immigrants and echo horrible phrases such as America is for Americans and Americans only.
America is for Americans and Americans only.
They don't want to talk about how this illegal immigration crisis is a theft of the American dream from American citizens.
Like, the hypocrisy makes us look at it. You know what I mean? Anyway.
That there to say that, well, I mean, it said it all, actually. Just that, so he not being from here, not an American citizen, came here as an illegal citizen for a time to grow this business, and now is on the side that is like,
like, it's okay when I did it,
Yeah.
you're not allowed to be an immigrant.
like,
Yeah.
you believe so strongly that you are right, that you are like just the rules for thee, not for me guy. Like, anybody else,
Does seem that way.
they're not allowed to do what he did. It's not right to do it that way, but it's right when he does it.
Is there anything he could do reparations wise? Like,
Not
know,
if
you
he's
get to
moving
that
forward
point-
and in trying to inflict a ban on that for other people. Your reparations have to be that you allow everybody else the
would be-
same that you got.
right?
So
It would
never mind.
be great to say, hey, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
It would be really great if you would get up and say, like, there are parts of illegal immigration that we do need to stop because we're letting a lot of undocumented criminals in that are causing a lot of trouble. However, we do need to make it easier for people who actually want to come here and have a job and create things.
Can
and grow
you
things.
go and find for me any type of documentation that shows that most of the people, or even a large portion of the people coming in, are criminals? Because from what I have seen, most of the criminal activity is coming in legally through Americans, and they're using the people who are trying to escape horrible conditions
Yeah.
as their scapegoat.
I
So
would say I did hear, and I would have to fact check this because you never know.
yeah,
but
share with
was
me
it-
something that would tell me a
was
different
it-
story.
I can't remember where it was. Somewhere around Venezuela. This feels like I'm just like spreading rumors that I heard in the
But
lunchroom. or
we're
whatever,
not
but,
claiming to be anything factual. We're just having a conversation, so it's okay. We're just trying to figure shit
there
out.
was
Tell us if we're
a
wrong.
South American country that was emptying out their prisons and saying you're out if you go to America. That I don't love.
Yeah.
Like,
So, and is so
rid of their
speaking Venezuela.
undesirables.
So, do you think that's
And-
because we went there and destroyed it for them by taking over, and now they're like, "Hey, go where?"
well, we can talk Venezuela in our
Yeah.
podcast, but
Yeah,
I don't like the thought of any people coming here. It seems like you hear quite often that somebody who committed an atrocious crime was an undocumented worker. However, I live in a place where there are a lot of undocumented people, and the most of them, I would say, are the hardest working people I've ever met.
exactly. So when you
So-
use that, when you give any credibility
But-
to those type of claims, it's like, so Donald Trump, and I believe Elon Musk shared Donald Trump's thing, and Jesse can fact check us here because she's good with that. So, right after these most recent things happened, like in New Orleans and in Las Vegas, they were very quick to say, "See, undocumented immigrants, see, all these things." But you know that in the end, nobody was an undocumented immigrant. None of those. So none of that was true. So
Mhm.
I hear them say a lot of times, "Oh, hey, yeah, this was done, but see, here's my proof." And then, but when the facts come out, it's just, it's not
late.
true. And they're never held accountable for like
Accountable.
spreading that misinformation and getting people to believe that. And it was never a truth.
And then when the facts come out, it's too late. People
It is
already
too late.
believe-
People have already,
believe they're
Well,
yeah, there are more illegal immigrants. No, the fuck they aren't. Like,
Well, if I
statistically,
was in
that's not
charge-
true.
If I was in charge, I
Yeah.
would like rise above all of the the fighting back and forth and say, okay, what is a good immigration policy for the country, regardless of what everybody says is going on? You
Yeah.
can't just open your borders and have everybody come in.
No, and especially it can't be a
that's a
welfare
recipe for
state and have
disaster.
open borders. I understand that concept for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have to make it easier for the people who actually want to come here to come here. It's a nightmare. If you make it a nightmare, people are going to skip the line and come somewhere else.
Mhm.
It's got to be a streamlined and easier process to get in. And we need to be able to keep out the people that were like, we can't right now.
Okay, but
Like,
we need to remember
we
that
have a long
we
line and-
aren't from here. None of us
Yeah.
are from here.
Well, we're all
we are part
immigrants.
of a group of people who came and took from other people.
Yep.
So
But now that we have organized a society, we need to make it available for people to come in. We need to have a system that allows people that want to come to be able to come.
Well, and for them to like rally against like the immigrant, and then for Elon to more recently with his businesses bring in immigrants who are higher qualified than the American. You know what I mean?
Sucks.
It's like the hypocrisy is just like you don't actually even believe what you're saying.
Astounding.
So what's the real reason you're saying it? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like I think they say a lot of things that don't align with what they actually believe because that's how they control the narrative. That's how they get people to think things like what you're saying, like, well, you know, we do want to protect against all those illegal immigrants that are coming. And not to say that there aren't illegal immigrants with bad intentions who want to come to America. We've done a lot of bad to a lot of places. It's kind of crazy to think that
and there
wouldn't be some animosity and desire to harm us.
Well, and not only that, there's just people who commit crimes. They just do.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to do with
I don't know
their
the
immigration status necessarily. They're just bad people.
But if you know somebody's a serial killer in Mexico, you know, we could say, I wish you the best in Mexico, whatever, but
that's a pretty individualistic thing though. And with those individual ones, then yes, there should be something like, well, you know, you're clearly a criminal. No, like deal with them on the level that they're actually a problem, which is individually.
Yep. Agreed.
It's like the classroom where the whole classroom gets punished because some people aren't behaving. And like that destroys my kids. It's so hard on them because they're like, so I can only imagine on a grand scale, like being an immigrant who's being just always put in with the group and told you are this because you're part of that
us
particular
versus
group.
Them again.
Yes, it's a very us versus them. And it's just not good overall. So if you think you know the best and you know, why is your best like not good for most? And I think it's because he doesn't care about most. He cares about the people he cares about, and he cares about the people who are aligned with him, and everybody else is like they're like an okay sacrifice to the society he wants. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So earlier I was gonna go back to I think a note that Rach probably have this. One guy said, is Elon Musk a net good for society? And when you look at just like ignoring everything, his accomplishments, right? SpaceX, pretty amazing. Get reusable rocket technology. You know, pay his part of it. He's done a lot of good, right? So if you could say that he's a net good for society, you want to ignore the negatives that it took to get there. So, and that's the thing, like ignoring the fact that he was an illegal immigrant, ignoring the fact that he fires most of his staff, that he's a nightmare to work for, that he's just a terrible boss.
That he has a horrible temper problem.
Yeah,
like
and like you want to ignore that because he's now made reusable rockets. He can do whatever he wants because he's the richest person in the world. He can do whatever he wants.
You should go look up, like from his own words, him and his brother's words for when they were working together. They would apparently literally fist fights, sometimes rolling on the ground because of their disagreements. Like very
that I believe,
very childlike, very like bully-esque, or like, I don't know. Like
I could see that in a lot of brothers. That's all right. I can see that in a lot of brothers. It's like, this is how we do this.
Yeah, of course, because you're siblings, but in that public forum, in a business setting like that instability, and then the level of the people he's hanging out with now, and like his influence that he has over things. Like, I am afraid of having someone with that little emotional maturity over anything. Like, that is unsafe
It
for
helps in some place, like not maturity, but the almost autistic ability to put emotion aside helps in some ways, and in some ways
Yes.
it is a
Yes, but
detriment.
but it's
as
the
far as
whole like his like, there are quotes like, what is it? There's one where he's sitting there, he says like he believes he knows more than literally any other person on earth about, God, what was it? It was something in business. Like, he knows merchandising or something. I don't know.
something like that.
But that mindset that you really think you know better than everybody is a dangerous mindset, because
Arrogance
it's
is
not
dangerous, yeah.
real. So he's out of touch with reality, but he's in a position of power. And
Yeah.
I see positive in like autistic traits. I think I attribute a lot of the things I think of as positive about myself as those traits in myself, the ways that I do go against the grain, or I don't agree with like the norms and stuff like that. But any one person being the holder of all the truest and best knowledge is stupid. Like, how can you be so stupid and so smart at the same time? I don't know.
I think the smartest people I know have like one or two areas where they're just incredibly, I don't want to say stupid, but like,
yeah, but that's okay. It's okay. I have areas I'm highly stupid in too.
And so it's just
Highly
kind of
stupid.
Highly stupid.
highly stupid. No, not highly stupid. But as far as like being a taskmaster in business, I think there's pluses and minuses.
Yes.
The thing I'm super excited about with him is that he can go in and cut the fat in a lot of programs, in a lot of government agencies. Like, it needs to be done. It's needed to be done for a very long time.
Yes.
We just keep creating more and more government agencies to get into other government agencies' ways.
Oh yeah,
And
the
we're just, like,
bureaucracy
we're
is out of
shooting ourselves in
control
the
and
foot.
nothing ever gets
It's
done. 100%.
incredible.
Yes.
Yes. But you also don't want somebody having complete power over cutting everything that's an obstacle to them. And like,
yeah,
I don't know, like using it just for their benefit. It's never a good idea.
It ultimately comes down
you have
to
to be careful.
what's
He
best
needs
for him
checks and
and
balances.
his, not, and he thinks what's best for him and his is what's best for everybody. Like, there is a quote from one of the things he said: deaths in the present day will be more than offset by lives saved later.
Oh, that sucks.
Exactly. And that's referring to like when he puts his employees at risk, making them work, long hours where it doesn't make sense, or working with equipment and things like that. And while, yes, he works very hard, he's not the one in those positions. He is more than happy to risk the lives of people to reach his goal.
Well,
and that
is such a neurodivergent trait.
Like during the
That is
pandemic, during the lockdown, he kept Tesla open and demanded his workers come to work and say, if they're going to arrest someone, just arrest me. But like, he wouldn't shut down his factories, even though he was ordered to, like, by the freaking government. And
he has so much power that he thinks that he can just write that, and then the cops are just going to go, well, of course, he's already taken blame, so none of you will help. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not how it works. You don't actually have that power. You think you do, and that's a problem. But like, you have so much good, but you feel like you can only get there with you are the only one who can do it. And I mean, I think we all feel like we have our ways that we like, oh God, if only I could do this, and it would, you know what I mean? And it's like one of us got put in that position and started running with it unfettered, without a friend like you to say, hey, Rachel, you're,
chill out.
Yeah, chill out.
Or a little hard.
Yeah.
People are starting to complain. Like,
yeah.
But
he's so confident he's right. He's willing to put us all at risk, because his future, he will be fine. His will be fine. But the rest of us are just, it's okay to use us as like, I don't know, like we're an okay loss, because it's a net positive for the future in his mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it's an incredibly neurodivergent trait to like get so one track minded and be like, this is a project we need to finish now. Like in my head, it's already finished. You need to work. It's hard when you get one track minded
Yeah.
to make other people feel the same way and to have the same intensity. And so it's got to be incredibly frustrating to be like, no, I need this done like now, 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 now.
I
And other
feel
people
that,
are
man.
like,
I feel
we
it.
got families, man. Like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah. And
6
like
days in a row for
the
20 hours a day.
employees who would talk about like he would call them in the middle of the night just screaming and berating them like and it's like
Yeah.
you can't do that, but he could. He's always been allowed to. So he doesn't even
Yeah,
understand that like societally like nobody really has to
gotta-
do what you say until now,
Mhm.
because now
Which is-
all of a
yeah.
sudden he's put himself in a different position and aligned himself with different people, and it scares me.
Well, so maybe the hope is that they put in place an Elon check and balance that can somebody that he does have to answer to that has the balls to check and balance him.
And
Because
it's me and
when
Emily.
people get
Just kidding.
yes, I will sign up for that job, Elon. I will be your
Just come talk
secretary.
to us. Let's just, not like we have everything, but anybody just to say, hold on.
Hold up.
I don't know. Like, I
What's it?
agree with you though. He's good. He takes big, big risks. And that is necessary because like moving forward, there was this clip about NASA talking about how like they're not able to take the risks he could take. Like if NASA,
Yeah.
what was it? It was four rockets until one worked that he was doing. Like NASA couldn't have done that because they're working with
Yeah.
the like tax money. So they have to answer to, so I see
Yep.
that as very important. Like I don't not value that in him.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. And he's clearly so smart, but he also like does things and then is never held accountable. Like with him when he pre-sold all the Teslas and so he needed the investment money to get the Teslas done. It was never possible to get it done in that amount. And he's just like, when people were like, wait a minute, like you sold me a car for 25,000. I already gave you that 25,000 so you could develop your plan. And you come back to me and say, well, sorry, it's 39,000. So if you want the car that you already purchased, you have to pay the rest of it because I couldn't make that car for that price. So you basically lied to get the money you wanted because you made it sound better than it was. And in the end, he's like, well, yeah, I guess that was a bait and switch. So, that sucks. Like, that's hard on us. And it's like, no, that's not hard on you. Yeah. That's hard on everybody else. Yes. You got to do your business at the expense of other people with a lie, essentially. And you see it as a net good because you made this car that you think is going to save everybody because to you, electric vehicles are the way of the future. And I agree that that fossil fuels are not. Like, I think that we're destroying the planet, the one planet we have. And his staunch desire to get off of it also gives me like pause because I'm like, I have no desire to go anywhere. Like I wouldn't make it to Mars. Like, and your priority is leaving here instead of like taking care of here. I don't get it.
Yeah. It's like back to the whole, is he a net good? Like the electronic vehicle race is phenomenal. The fact that we now have more electronic vehicles and are going to be less reliant on fossil fuels, awesome, right? That's the net good. But what like you had to look over what he did to get there, like how he sold people a car for X amount and people were like, oh, excellent, I will totally buy a Tesla for that much. Oh, now it's this much. Well, they might not have bought a Tesla for that much. Like they might have just decided not to and let wealthier people buy it.
Might
like,
have already been at the top of their range. Yeah.
Yeah, and now they have to pay more for what they already purchased. Like, but that's totally ignored. Did he ever face accountability for that? Did they ever refund anyone? No. They screwed people over and got ahead, and it is now what it is.
And that's where danger lies, is when people don't have accountability. That's what you.
Yeah, which is why I don't get why so many people are so hyped up on Trump and him. Like they're different than the government. The government's all bought, and they're not held accountable. Can you show me one instance of Trump or him actually being held accountable in a meaningful way? In any meaningful way.
Oh, I would love accountability in politics. I would
love accountability in life in a meaningful way. Like we are over policed for like, oh, you drove too fast. Like I got a ticket in the mail the other day. for speeding on a road that nobody else was on from the sky. And I'm just like, awesome. I don't want to drive anymore. Like it is,
Right.
I'm like, so I am not harming anybody. You're just like picking apart the little rules for the little people to finance this world, but they can do whatever the fuck they want. I'm just like, this is so stupid. Accountability for us on this level is high. We are held accountable for everything. And it's so stupid.
Yep.
And there's none for them. So like, how could I expect them to
Like taxes, for example. Like Trump doesn't pay taxes and gets away with it. If someone doesn't pay like $100 in taxes, they go to fucking jail. Trump
Yeah.
can just like avoid millions upon millions in taxes and gets away with it. Musk,
That right
I'm sure,
there.
has not paid the taxes that he should at his level of wealth. How much taxes he's paid are probably insane compared to normal people, like the middle class that are funding the world.
Yeah. And they talk like they are funding everything when really they're using everything. They need all the money to like further their agendas. And I don't see them.
That's why I think, back to like a podcast we did a long time ago, I think AI should have more of a role in our legal system. I think it would be fantastic because it would not, like AI would not care who you are, where you come from, what you're trying to accomplish, anything. It would just say, did you break this law?
Yeah.
Yes, you did. Here's the
AI is how
To
we
go off
could
of that.
enact your blind justice system. You mean?
Yes.
Yeah, we need a
Yes.
blind justice system because then we wouldn't pick apart everybody because we'd realize, oh, that's actually stupid and not getting us anywhere. That's just filling private prisons so they can get the money for the bed that they're putting good humans in most of the time, honestly.
And even partial, if they just came up, like if AI came up with a judgment and then a judge came up with a judgment, and if it was so far off, they had to discuss why, and like, you know what I mean? They
yeah,
had to,
we're doing that in dentistry already. We use AI.
Right.
We use AI to look at our x-rays. We still do all of our diagnosing the same way, but we compare it to our AI. We're doing it there. Why not in the justice system? Oh, because that would actually hold people accountable.
whoops. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Anyways,
So
all right.
Maybe
So
that's what I will do. I will come up with
other things
some
that I
AI for the
was,
justice system.
to talk about Trump, maybe one of the not so good things about him is that to me, from the outside, it's looking like he's really needing validation. Like he is tweeting constantly. He has to get his thoughts out there like it's an addiction. And if you don't agree with him, like he just I don't know. He needs friends. He needs someone to but
He
to
does. And it
validate
seems like he's
him
very,
and
very excited to be a part of the club.
yeah.
Like he seems like he's pretty stoked to
Yeah.
be, like he's showing some emotion now, and I'm like, oh, well, I'm glad you're happy.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that, but just throwing that out
All
there.
right, so one thing, the reason why I really have grown to hate Elon Musk, just one of the, all right, so they were trying to keep the government open, and Musk bullied lawmakers. I'm trying to say this right. GOP senators who were going to pass a bill to keep the government open, just to fund the government until Trump takes office. Musk threatened the people voting for it, saying, if you vote for this bill, I will fund your opponents so that you get out of office, right? So he basically threatened lawmakers to not do their job with his money, and they caved because, obviously they're pieces of shit who just are more interested in holding on to their power than doing the right thing. So this piece of shit Musk is threatening our lawmakers and influencing policy in our government just because he has money. Like,
He paid people
that's-
to vote for Trump, so that's no
like, what a
That's-
piece of shit. And he's getting away with it because there's zero accountability, because he didn't do anything illegal. He just said, hey, if you don't do what I want you to do, I'm going to make sure that your life sucks. I'm going to get you thrown out of your position.
and because he has money,
so
they
they're
know
like,
that's
"Oh,
true. So
well,
they cave.
if that's the case, I'll just vote this way because I don't care." They don't care about doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So
Throwing money around
So he's
to
basically ruling the world now.
influence.
He's already in charge of the United States. and he's going to be in charge of other countries. He's already running the United States.
Or at least that's how it really feels, for
He's
sure.
not even a U.S.
Well,
citizen.
well, and what is the quote that says absolute power corrupts absolutely?
Mm-hmm.
You have to, like, nobody can withstand it. It has
Yeah,
been done
because
throughout the course of all of
nobody
history.
thinks the
Like,
same, and nobody's life is actually supposed to be exactly the same. There is not
we're not supposed
one
to
way to
follow
do
one.
everything that's just 100% right for everybody.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so a little more on, because I was just looking, I think he was more on the Democratic side of things for a time, and then he switched to be more right wing. He merged with them during like the pandemic because he saw himself aligning more with, yeah, they're right. They're overreaching with their power or whatever.
Yeah.
Which my stance on that is that I don't necessarily think it was an overreach of power. I think it was an under response of the people. We all fought it so fucking hard, whereas it could have been like, hold on, everybody sit down, wash your hands, stay home for a minute. And then, you know what I mean? Infection control is important. There have been plagues throughout history, and we're trying to take steps to like avoid plagues. And you're like, too much control. And it's like, I get that because they control a lot. But when you fight everything like that, like, I don't know, like, it's not like, and then the COVID vaccines and stuff, it's not like vaccines were a new technology. Like, it's not hard to make a vaccine for something when you already know how to make the vaccine. You just need the virus. So it's like, and people were like, you can't trust it because it was so fast. And I'm like,
I had a hard time trusting it. Like, I've never been an anti-vaxxer, but I had a hard time. I was like,
yeah. And so do you think that they are trying to use it to harm people?
I don't know if they were using it to harm people. I think it was a giant money grab.
Well,
Like,
everything is because, yeah, you have to give contracts to which different drug company or whatever. But as far as a vaccine's concerned, like, I guess I have a different view because coming from growing up with my dad being disabled my whole life and finding out that he's been living with post-traumatic fever and post-polio and things that like COVID long term is so bad. And some people, or a lot of people are like, oh, but the vaccine can be bad too. And I'm like, yes, some people have bad reactions to things, but on a whole, on a grand scale, giving everybody like an immunity or at least a little help against something was supposed to be a net positive. But when people won't accept or go along with that because there is just no trust, which I get the no trust because I don't trust our government, but I trust the doctors, not our healthcare system, because our healthcare system is so like broken by insurance and everything.
Yeah.
And I don't trust
like your local
every doctor,
doctors.
just the same as like not every immigrant is bad, not every you know what I mean? There are ones that have gone the route of money and sold their souls to do things that they shouldn't because they want to make money. But for the most part, the people who are working to like try to create the product are not the bad guy. They're actually trying to do something to help us, like for healthcare or whatever. And we don't trust because it's being led by the government. But how else are you supposed to get something out to the people in a mass way? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a giant clusterfuck all around. Yeah, there's. I'm not
like, I don't think
I'm not really sure how to feel about it,
but I think we fought everything so hard, and nobody can do anything when everybody's fighting everything.
Yeah.
Like, we collectively were a clusterfuck. We all fucked up. And putting it all on the government who like, well, yeah, they suck, but like that's their job was to actually take care of us not going through another plague. And we were like, fuck you.
Right. It was a crazy time. And I think if you're offering to vaccinate like every person in America, we gotta freaking know what's in this vaccine. Like there are a lot of
there wasn't enough time for us to check everything for like
wasn't
long
enough
term
time.
and stuff like that.
There wasn't enough time. So it was weird. And
I'm the long-term effects of COVID, we are not going to have time to know that either. Just the same as like now you can see people who never vaccinated and carried around or mass spreaders of like TB, and they look like they have lung cancer, but they were just mass spreaders of TB, and that does have long-term effects too. Just as much as say maybe somebody who would have had an effect from a vaccine to that. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, that might have bad effects, but like we're not the professionals, and our fear of that made us act as though we were. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I think the anti-vaccine people are just like, maybe it's that vaccines have been around for so long that people forget what they are and what they do. I mean, someone opposed to a vaccine actually said, instead of giving a vaccine, why not inject people with a small bit of the virus so that they
I
can
saw
learn how to
that.
fight it off? Like,
It's
that's
what
a
do you
fucking
think
vaccine.
a vaccine
I
is?
saw that.
You
That's the
idiot.
vaccine.
So like,
Sorry.
like even
The
anti-vaxxers anti-vaxxers want a vaccine because they don't
They don't
want
understand
it
that what
to
they
be
want is a
called
vaccine.
Like, is it just that vaccines have been around for so long that they forgot that it has all but eliminated things like polio, plague,
Yeah,
like
nobody who saw polio
people are
complained
like,
about
but
the
what's in the
polio
vaccine?
Nobody saw
Like,
it, so they don't
so
remember to be afraid of it, I guess.
all of a sudden people are scientists and they all of a sudden know better about vaccines than the doctors. But like, no, you fucking don't. Take the vaccine. Put on the fucking mask, you piece of shit. Like everyone who would not wear a mask during the pandemic. Fuck you. You should get long COVID for not being willing to wear a mask because you're spreading the virus.
Well,
All
because
you
they
have
were
to do
like,
is wear a fucking mask. People wouldn't do it. All you have to do is take a vaccine and it could all but eradicate COVID, but people won't fucking do it because they're so fucking stupid and they think that they're too intelligent or they don't have to do it or they're entitled not to. These stupid fucking
oh my
idiots have
God.
spread a pandemic. All they have to do is wear a mask and take a vaccine, but now people are against it because they don't understand vaccines. It's so stupid to me. Anyway,
Well,
I'm good now.
no, you're good. You're good. I have a response to that. How do I say it? No, I think if you can do little things to help and you're not doing that, that does make you an asshole. Um,
Or that
the
people actively
vaccine,
chose to not do things because they're like, this isn't going to stop me from getting it. And it's like, yeah, that's the point. It's to you. Stop giving it to other people. You know that we know as dental professionals, we wear masks to protect you from us. The doctor's not used to not wear a mask. They didn't care.
well, and what's
We
the
wore them to
alternative?
protect the patient, and people don't even understand. They wouldn't take they were like, it's too hard on me to wear it all day. And I'm like,
You
doctors
get
have
used
been
to it real
doing that
fast.
for so long. Like it literally just sounds kind of stupid to our ears because it's like, well, what, whatever.
There's
Okay,
doctors
fine.
with asthma and all sorts of breathing problems, and they'll
And
wear
they
them
still wear the
anyway. And
mask
it's like,
for you,
yep.
but you won't wear it for others because it's not going to. I don't know that this is 100% going to protect me, and it's a little bit of an inconvenience. So
Yeah,
we're just very selfish
I wish that the
humans.
people that everyone who wouldn't wear a mask got COVID. I wish they all got COVID and had to suffer through it and understand what they were spreading. Like I wish they would all just get it. And the people
They
that would
probably
wear
all did have
masks
it.
and the people that wear masks
Yeah, I think we all got it.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I wore my fucking mask. I got my fucking vaccine. I've had COVID twice and it's been nothing worse than a bad cold. And I've tested positive for COVID-19 twice and it's been fine because
But we also
Yeah, I
have
got it,
friends
and it was
who
a
did
cold and a
lose
headache.
we have a friend who lost her father-in-law just before her baby was born, and he was taught to be an anti-masker. So it was like it's the people that it affects who like just buy that stuff and then end up being harmed when they wouldn't have been harmed if you know what I mean? Like there's no saying 100% you wouldn't have got it, but we learned to wash our hands and things like that to reduce the spread of things. And when you're told they're just trying to do something to you and control you, so then you just stop doing those things it's sad. It's sad to see people be harmed by that because it's ignorance.
It's always better when you can think for yourself and be like, does it hurt me to wash my hands? Does it hurt me to social distance for a little while and, stay away from people and try to stop the spread of whatever this is? Because
if we hadn't fought it so hard, it wouldn't have hurt us so bad. But we fought it so hard. And you can't get herd immunity when everybody won't do what we need to get herd. I mean, we got it eventually, but I don't know.
Yeah, and
anyways,
unfortunately,
this is not about COVID.
And unfortunately, the people who didn't care didn't suffer. Like they should have gotten sick and suffered.
I'm sure a lot of them did.
I hope they did because
I don't want anybody to suffer.
No, I think if you're not willing to do something as simple as wear a mask to prevent other people from suffering, then you deserve the suffering that you're inflicting on other people. It should happen to you, but that's karma.
There should be automatic karma.
Yeah, and obviously karma doesn't exist because of people like Elon Musk and Donald Trump.
They are proof that
obviously
karma in and of itself is not real.
It obviously doesn't exist. It's just like you want to believe it does. Like when you see someone being an asshole and they trip and fall, like yay, instant karma. But like real karma doesn't actually exist. Otherwise, you would see things like that.
Maybe. I think karma works in mysterious ways. I mean, I don't believe in like
And it just hasn't mysteriously worked on
karma
them
per
yet.
se. It may work in different ways. It's yeah, just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. But you want to hear funny stories? As long as we're talking about COVID and masks and things.
Yes, yes.
So COVID came out. We were all just barely asked to wear masks and stuff. And my husband's mom is like, I made your whole family masks, right? She's really good at sewing, and she's like, I just made you reusable, washable masks that you could have. Like, sweet. She brings them to us, and we all put them on, and we're wearing them, and they're super cute. And we're like, yeah, this will be awesome. And then the next day she calls and she says, I just tested positive. So all of those masks that you guys were wearing are contaminated.
We're freshly
They're all
COVIDed.
tainted. And you put them right on your face.
Yep, right on my mouth. And we were okay. Nobody got sick, but we're like, oh.
Because I mean, fabric isn't a really hospitable environment for a virus to survive, so it's not like it's in there.
No, so it worked, but it was just like, thank you for doing a really, really good thing. And
Yeah, it was sweet,
Yeah,
but that
crap.
is funny.
Yeah.
Did you guys get any like any what are those symptoms? There you go. Because so many people got COVID and didn't have symptoms, thankfully. And then others would
when I had it,
get very bad
I
symptoms.
never. Okay, so I got to be careful here because I never tested for COVID. I just assumed that when I got sick, it was the same symptoms that everybody else was talking about. So I'm like, yeah, I'll just quarantine and call it good. The only difference between it and a cold was like a massive headache, like a really massive headache.
Yeah,
And
I got that.
That's all. Oh, and I lost my sense of smell.
And I got that
That was
too,
weird.
which I was okay with, but it came back. So
I was not. I'm like, if I can't taste my food, life has no meaning. And
I was
I'm
just
out.
happy for the reprieve from like smelling everything. What's up, baby? Do you want to come say hi real quick? You want to make bubbles? Well, we'll make bubbles after. Okay.
Ooh, I like bubbles.
We learned that if you put sugar in the bubble mixture, that it makes some freaking amazing
My
bubbles. I'll
camera
send
died.
you that, Jesse, so you can share it. I made a cute little TikTok about it, but like
I saw
yeah, so we've
that.
been doing lots and lots of bubbles.
My
Such a
camera
simple,
just
fun thing.
decided
Everybody
it
likes
was-
bubbles. Like even my bigger girls will
everybody
come
likes
out
bubbles.
and wanna play with bubbles because we got this big
Want a
old like
bubble?
wand. It's cool. Anyways, okay,
Love it.
so another thing
Elon.
that kind of worries me about like where Trump is right now is that so like a lot of his business ventures and stuff like that are utilized by our government now, you know what I mean? So like we are
Mhm.
heavily reliant on him now. Like we've outsourced to his business so he makes
Sorry,
his money off of things that we are now reliant on, like the internet, the
Yeah.
power grid, things like, you know, etc.
Mhm.
and the like. That gives me a little pause, a little nerves about just hearing about his temperament and his just belief in his own way of thinking, and then his newfound position of power like that. That definitely makes me nervous. Does it make you nervous at all?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I despise when people use the government, when politicians use the government to promote their own businesses and to like insider trading. That's a huge one. I think if they crack down on insider trading in the government, there would be very few people left. Yeah, it annoys me to no end, and it can be very dangerous.
Yeah.
So yes,
A little nerve-wracking. Okay.
that is very worrisome.
Something else I texted you and I asked you, have you ever heard of technocrats?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Have you?
Not really
Technocracy? Okay, so
technocracy, but it makes sense for where we're at.
yeah, well, I've been trying to learn a little about him, and I think it was his grandfather was like a pretty staunch technocrat, and just he just seems to believe like he has beliefs to me that are very
You're saying
conflicting.
Elon's grandfather.
Yeah, Elon's grandfather. And like you can tell it was like some sort of influence in like, and his mom has even said, what was it? Hers was just the technocrats believe, kind of in for procreation, like it's your duty to have kids. If you can't have kids, it's your kind of your duty to have kids. So he really feels the need to have a lot of kids. His mom had even said that. And I'm not necessarily against that, but I definitely don't think
I'm
it's a good
super
thing to
against
consider
people
it
being
a
told how
duty.
many. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not against people having kids, but I'm against people being told that it's their duty and they have to. And
Yeah.
because it's such a personal thing and takes so much time and energy, and only you can tell how much time and energy you have to spend. And
Yeah.
sometimes you don't know until it's been surpassed and you're like, oh shiz.
Yeah.
But
And not every person
yeah.
is good for kids. Like you should want, and you should be able to like care for them and nurture them. And having kids just because you were told to have kids is, you're like, what kind of kids are we going to end up
Horrible.
with?
You
You know what I mean?
you were one of a family that had kids so that they could grow up in the church. So your mom procreated because she was told she was supposed to, and you're number 8. That's
Mhm.
the kid you wind up with. You.
Well, and
Yeah,
coming
someone
from
who feels
someone
like they
who felt
lacked
like,
something from their parents and desperately
Yeah.
still wants it, and feels like that way of thinking robbed them of it because nobody has that much of themselves to give to that many other humans. And especially
well, and
in the
coming
economy where
from,
you have to work and work and work and work and work.
yeah,
I don't know.
coming from somebody who was not, I was not told this by my parents, but I was by the church, that you need to have as many kids as you can, and there are little babies up in heaven waiting for you, and if you don't have them, then they're just stuck. Like, you disappointed a baby in heaven. Like, they are stuck because you chose not to.
You
It
didn't
is
have your
so,
child, so now your child's waiting for you.
it's
It makes it
mental
hard to
torture.
like be able to actually think for yourself because there's a guilt and a fear now associated with it.
Well, and it's mental torture because if there was actually a baby that was
That
like
I
a
was supposed
child,
to
anybody
have, yeah.
who was, well, that is just up there in despair and like, what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, who's having an awful time because I chose not to have a baby, I can push myself harder and I can have another baby and like I can do what I can and like
Yeah.
push myself to be an emotional puddle of a human being because it's
Yeah,
saving
to what
somebody else.
end?
You know
What
what I
is your
mean?
life? What
But
is the life of that child? Like just having a kid because you're supposed to have a kid
yeah,
is a dumb way of thinking,
yes.
right?
So to feel like I am stretched to my limits, but technically my body could still give birth, so I should have another child, is so mentally like torturous. You can't do that. It doesn't work. Don't, yeah.
Yeah.
Please don't inflict that on people.
And
Don't do that.
I've heard that Elon, like talking about population and stuff like that, he believes that we are underpopulated, right? Like we need more population. So they believe people need to have more kids.
Something like the birth rate's gone down.
Yeah, like the birth rate's gone down and we need that. But what I don't get, like the disconnect for me is like it like I need to get the right words here because I have this. Okay, so like he believes in really hard work and the people most qualified for a position should have that position, and I believe in all of that too. And you know, he believes in technology making our lives better and creating things where like technology is going to do the job for us and things like that.
Yeah.
And we don't have enough people to keep working these jobs, although I think we do. I think we have too many people for the amount of jobs that we actually need done anymore. Like, and if you're aligned with the party who staunchly is against social programs and ways to take care of the people and so that everybody can live well, but you also believe that like technology should be doing certain jobs and only the most qualified should be like it leaves people out. It leaves these people who, and I think the people who aren't at the top and can have the greatest jobs and work the hardest way that he thinks everybody should work. Like they're the only ones who really matter, and technology will take care of the rest, but no social programs for the people who don't really fit into his world. Does that make sense? Like it's almost like there's a portion of the population that he's okay with sacrificing. Like when I look at everything, that's the picture I see. And I'm like, is that what he thinks? Is that real?
Right.
Do you see that?
Can
you say that in a better way? Did you
pieces.
understand what I'm saying?
I think so. No, I think so. I think if you're trying to increase the birth rate, you can either do it Handmaid's Tale, or you can do it by making increasing a minimum wage and making sure people have what they need when they go to
making
work.
a world worth
bringing
kids
family
into it. Yeah.
Yep.
Or you can force
absolutely.
birth by making abortion illegal.
Handmaid's
You
Tale.
force people to have more.
That's the Handmaid's Tale. Yeah.
Yep. That's the Handmaid's Tale, where you're like, these
that.
people will give birth and they will. I actually haven't
now
seen
I've
it
learned I
either.
have to
just
read
know the gist.
1984 and I have to watch Handmaid's Tale to learn more about what we talked about today.
Yeah.
There you go. That's your assignment. I need to watch Handmaid's Tale too, because I haven't. I just get the basic gist. But as far as like whether the birth rate is good or bad, I think I don't know. You definitely don't want to have a birth rate that declines too quickly, because you will have an aging population and like not enough people to take over the jobs that have already, as they age out. Like in farming right now, you have a lot of farmers that are at the age where they're aging out, and you don't have a lot of kids now that are like, I want to be a farmer when I grow up, and there's not many that can start. Do you know what I mean?
Because we push
takes
college
so
so
much to
hard and the
start.
cost of living is so high that you can't make a living doing that, even though that's the foundation of what we need to live.
Oh no, you can make a living being a farmer, but it takes so much capital to start up that
So exactly.
not
You
many
can't
people-
just go and do that though. Like
no. So
that's kind of the
They're-
whole
they're
point,
finding
how he
that-
didn't come from nothing. Because all of us want to work and better ourselves and but we don't have any startup. The capital is all at the top. We are at the mercy of the system.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, and as these farmers are aging out, they usually sell their farms to a bigger conglomerate, you know what I mean, of farms, and it becomes less individualized and more massive.
You say that
I don't know if
again.
makes sense.
I didn't quite get that.
So I'm speaking of things I do not know right now, but like
That's okay. I always am. I'm trying to learn. That's what I'm doing this for.
So say you have can you hear me okay?
I can hear you right now because we got our heads on this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, okay, say you have a farmer with 1,000 acres, right? And he does his deal, takes care of his 1,000 acres. He ages out, his kids move away, they don't want to farm. His option then is to either sell the whole farm to a bigger farm, basically somebody that takes care of thousands and thousands and thousands of acres, or to like sell it to people who want to develop it, like subdivisions and things like
Or
that.
people like me who would
So-
love to keep farming it, but it's priced way out of anything I could ever do. So I would come do that. I would love to do that, but that's
Well,
for
they
people
still-
who aren't me.
Yeah, they still want to get like the money they can get out of their farm when they retire. They still want to retire well.
Yeah.
And so the option is basically send it up the line. So you got these massive farms that take care of thousands and thousands and thousands of acres instead of family farms.
But then
that
who
used to be
actually is
100
working
years
the
ago.
farm? Because it's not the people who own the farms.
No. Well, yes and no. I would say most of the people I know that own farms definitely work very,
Yeah,
very
but when I'm talking about the
along
ones
with their
you were just
workers,
talking
but,
about
like-
where they sell the farm
Mhm.
to a bigger farm. Then that bigger
Mhm.
farm, those people were now working
Hires more
their
workers.
bigger farm. Yeah, they hire workers. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Mhm.
They don't actually work the farm. They have the capital to buy the farm to own the workers. So everything
Yes.
just gets
and it becomes more
more
business.
and more capitalistic and corporate. Yes.
I don't know why I said that, but where were we going with that?
You were talking about how people like don't want to come in and like take over their family's farm. So what they have to do, their next
Oh,
step
how we
is
have like
to,
an aging population and people coming in, and I don't know where I went off for the rails with that one, but anyways, you do need to have enough people to keep society going as the next generation ages out. I mean, it makes sense.
but
If
why would people
everybody
want to
stops
live
having,
in a world that is so shitty for them? You want
there
people
you
to
go.
continue to create a population, create a world that a population sees worthy of living in or worth living in.
Yep, I will agree with that.
But in any way, like just creating, say, you have to do this, it's never the answer. Like your way is not
Mhm.
everybody's way. Nobody's way is everybody's
No.
way.
Nope,
Let me see.
nope.
Yeah.
I
So
agree.
I believe in Elon, but I think that Elon believes in himself to a fault. He
Yeah,
believes,
Elon needs checks and balances.
yeah, Elon needs checks and
Trump needs
balances.
checks and yes. Everybody
And
needs
we are
checks and
just the
balances,
people to do it.
right? Put me in, coach. I got this.
My thing about, okay, we just got to leave it there. My thing about the population is like he's saying we have too little because we need people to be able to keep this going. And mine is like, why would we want to keep this going? Like to me, we have too much because we have finite resources and we just keep going and going and going. To what end? You know what I mean? We cannot grow forever or we're a cancer, but we could just create a system that's like sustainable and then not push people to have more or take on more than they can. But that's not the world he's like
Well,
envisioning.
and it's
So I
not
guess
human
that's
nature.
wrong.
Well, human nature is growth in one way or another. And it would be nice if we could push that growth from gathering stuff into like creating and learning and I don't know, like value the arts. And we used to be able to build like really
Lives, like
cool
actual good lives.
If you look at the architecture and things from 100 years ago, they built some cool stuff. If you look at the art and the music and things like that from 100, 200 years ago, it was friggin' cool. It was really cool. And it would be nice if we could get back to, like, instead of just this focus on attaining stuff, to like
Making
having
quality
the
stuff
ability
again.
to making quality things and discovering new things.
Yeah, because all of those things that they still exist today because they were made quality. But everything we're making today could be gone and like it's just cardboard essentially. Like we're making things so cheap so we can just keep expanding and making more and more and more. Like with real estate here in Florida, like the way that it's just growing and building, it's just like why? To what end? Like why do people need more than one house? Why do people? And then I guess that's to make money off of other people, but like
I'm okay with people deciding what they want. Like it's even if I don't agree with it,
yeah.
I just I don't know. There's things I would change. That's a topic for a whole nother podcast. But as far as Elon Musk is concerned, I like that there's somebody who tries to figure out problems that like actually feels the problem and feels a drive to fix the problem, and that has the brain power to like figure out how to actually do it in a real way and isn't afraid to put that in. That I'm excited about. Nobody does well without checks and balances, period, ever. And he needs people in place that will actually call him out and be able to, and that he respects, which is, I don't know, who does he respect? Like, gotta find somebody that he respects that will listen to him, or even that he doesn't respect, but that he still has to listen to. Like, there needs to be checks and balances, period.
Yeah.
But,
for everything.
But
I agree with that.
I'm pretty excited to see what he does. And hopefully he doesn't turn into some
nervous.
super villain.
I'm more nervous because like if he's already threatening the government to do what he wants and getting away with it, like what is he gonna do? Like
yeah, to what end? What like make me understand your goal.
Hopefully there are people behind him right now that are like, hey, Elon, you can't do that. he's never been in the government before, so sometimes he's probably gonna like shoot from the hip and like need to be taught that's not how government works. You really can't do that. Like, that's super illegal, and no.
Or
Like,
also, you're not even actually a citizen here. You're against other illegal immigrants, but you'll bring them in to help you for your cause, and you're
Yeah.
inflicting your power on a place you're not even from.
can you see how that?
He's not an
Yeah.
elected official, and
Yeah.
he's yet in the position of one of the highest positions of power somehow. Like it, yeah.
You know.
It is odd.
He needs to
It
go
is
away.
odd.
I'm with you though. I see like the good, and I want someone who like I like that, like take risks, like get shit done when nobody else is doing things. Because I do see that like
Yeah.
our government is
The
very inefficient.
bureaucracy makes me so angry.
It's
Yeah.
annoying. Oh yeah, that's a problem. We'll have a meeting about it. And then
nobody
we'll
does
make a
anything 'cause
group
they still
that's
wanna
going to
get
talk about
reelected.
it further.
Yeah. Put a pin in that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Let's get some stuff done.
Yeah.
Let's cut some
But
fat. Let's yeah.
Yeah.
Hit-
So getting
hit the
back to the
education
birth
system
rate
next.
thing though,
Yeah. Hey, Lena.
my like I made a note. I said Elon expresses issues about declining birth rates, but he also really wants to save the earth. Is that not conflicting when we're already living as like a cancer to the earth? Like, why would more people be good for the earth? If your stance is you like he really cares about the earth and he wants to save the earth, how do people play into that? How does more people fix that when we're
I'd like to
already
hear him answer that
over-consuming the way
question.
that we are? That's a question I'd want to ask him. Like
Oh.
these
I'll
feel
send
like
that one to
very
Joe Rogan and you can
conflicting
ask him.
beliefs to me. You know?
Okay. Yeah. That's a valid question. I would like to hear your answer.
Yeah. So Elon, can you answer that for us?
Please. I would love it.
How does increasing the birth rate save the earth that is already overutilized?
Yes.
Or, we're just draining
Whatever.
resources, and people aren't living well on like a grand scale. Like a very small portion of the population is living well, and most people are living in survival mode. Like,
Mhm.
if you are it, if
One
you're the end
accident
all
away
be all,
from-
if you have the answers, please share them. Don't just enact them. Tell me what you're doing. We could help if it actually makes any
Yeah.
sense, because I care about the world too. What are you laughing at?
Yep.
Her running around in there?
Elena.
What?
She's saying hi.
Oh, I hadn't noticed.
Yeah,
I hadn't. She's telling me to be quiet now. She's just gonna sit there. She's saying hi to Jesse, maybe. How long has she been there?
Like
A
5
while.
minutes.
Did-
She's been there a while.
Do you need something? She's doing sign language. What did she spell?
I think she was just doing half a heart.
No, she's definitely
Oh no. I didn't see.
L.
Hello.
Just, I didn't. Maybe it was hello. Okay, she's funny.
I think it was hello. Bella.
If you need something, text me because she's playing hide and seek. Ah, that's what she's told us to shop.
Got it.
She can sneak outside. Okay, she's playing hide and seek. I love that. All right,
I do
so
too. That's
I
good.
actually made a little note here. I don't know how much time we have here, so all right.
Okay.
I made Elon. Oh, she was found. The door helped. They're so cute. Okay, so
Adorable.
Elon Musk's plan to save the world is sustainable energy, right? He's trying to, with electric vehicles, trying to reduce reliance on fossil fuels to combat climate change. His space exploration, I don't quite understand. Like, I don't
I
understand
don't either, but
the need. Like, to him, it felt when I've seen him speaking about it, it's like, if this doesn't happen, like, we're done. Like, this is an end all be all. Like, this has to happen or we basically die. Or, you know what I mean? Like, but I don't
Yeah.
understand the why. Do you? Like, why do we need to get off planet so bad?
No, I think it's just the fact that we have one planet and it's so anything could happen at any time. The Yellowstone, volcano could erupt. We could be hit by a giant asteroid. There are a million things that could change the earth so drastically. Like what was the volcano that erupted in Indonesia like a long time ago? Anyway, I think it was Krakatoa. Anyways, it went off and it caused like winter for an entire year because it blocked out the sun for so long. Like there are catastrophic events that can change the earth so drastically that not having a backup seems like we're just waiting for the earth to end. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
And I
I
guess
don't
it's just
see
whether
it
or not that
as-
matters to you. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like,
Like that
the only
probably
thing
wouldn't
I
be my
think my
highest
God
priority,
is
but
the earth and the sun, because they're what I'm at the mercy of. So I want to work,
I don't know.
to be good to the earth, but like
Yeah.
the desire to escape and like be somewhere else or create a whole other, like the furthering of the human race, I think is what his goal is. He wants to further the human race. And I'm like,
Yeah.
if the human race has a natural end, I don't feel the need to fight it. So I guess that's the difference.
And I'm okay with both sides. Like
Yeah.
if it were me, I don't know that going to Mars would be my highest priority, but I can't really fault him for
Especially when we
wanting
have
to.
so many problems here and you hold so much of the wealth and so much of the power and your priority is elsewhere. I'd be a whole lot more behind you if you were just trying to prioritize our lives on Earth and make it good while we're here. If you don't,
Yeah,
if
but
the future is
he doesn't owe
uncertain
us
because we
anything
don't know
that
what the
way.
world is going to do, let's just have a good time right now. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. Well, the way I feel about it is he has just as much freedom as anybody else. If he wants to focus on that, great.
He
Like
does.
I
He's
can
just in a
wish that he
position
would
of
focus
power
on
to do things with it
yeah.
that we're not, I guess.
Yeah. So while we sit and say, I wish you would do this, like as long as he's doing the job that he came to do, I can't have any say on where his focus goes. Like
Well, I
he can go
can
to
only
Mars.
now that he has inserted himself into our government and to
Yeah,
our
but
policies.
if he does the job though that he's non-elected to do,
Which is what? What is
then
that job in your opinion?
and from what my understanding, it was basically to just come in and what's the Doge, whatever. What does it stand for? Department of
Doge, I don't know,
Government.
because
Yeah, they're just
that's like a
Department of
group of guys
Government.
who like finally made
Uh,
it to the top and they're, I don't know, it just feels
They're-
like,
it's the
Well, I think
Department
his
of
job is
Government Efficiency where he's gonna come in and clean
yeah,
house.
there's
and-
two guys
Yeah.
that are over
Yeah,
the
but the
department.
problem is the person who wants to
Elon's
the
good at it.
person they're appointing to make these decisions wants to get rid of social programs and like wants to make it what he would want it to be, not what the country needs. Versus like like the
Yeah.
country needs welfare, the country
Yeah.
needs social
Which
programs.
is why he needs checks and balances. But at the same time, I'm really excited for him to go in and cut the fat on a lot of things. Like,
Yeah, I'm excited
get
for
in
cutting
there
back on
and
things, but I
make
don't
it
see a
more
plan to do anything in the place of those. So
Yeah.
getting rid of the programs
Well,
that weren't doing anything and having zero programs doing anything, where's our net positive?
yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, but that's what we're
where the
headed
checks and
into.
balances need to come
So
in.
like,
So
and saying he needs checks and
That's-
balances doesn't mean any of that's going to happen.
Yeah,
So
is there
where we're
so-
going
You're
is
right.
still terrifying.
You have a person with all the wealth, no accountability, no checks and balances, no one calling him out. He just does whatever the hell he wants. And like
and we're just hoping nothing goes wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's just like
I don't know,
we
but-
got this jackass, and then you have they reelected Trump, who's another jackass with no accountability, doing whatever the fuck he wants. Like we are so screwed because they're both just
Yeah.
like Trump's a moron. Musk might be a genius, but he's so disconnected that he can't really help people because he doesn't know what it's like to be a person. He's just got all the money and he's just playing with the country like it's his own toy. Like it just,
Yeah. And the government was
Monopoly game.
so shit before that it's I think people are just like anything different is better. But I don't think anything different is actually better when they've
That's
been
how we get
when
World
they've
War II.
shown themselves to live outside of any law and order and to have their own agenda they want to further. They're not coming to save us. They're coming to save themselves and do what they want. So our government sucked and so do they.
Yeah.
That's where I am.
Well, I will agree with that as well.
Yeah.
I think
But I
think
agree with
we're-
him. The technology could help us with a better future. So I like that he's looking into those things. It's
Mhm.
just that his idea of a better future isn't necessarily my idea of a better future.
And I think if a good rule of thumb also is if you feel the hero worship, like not just for Trump, not just for Elon, for anybody, do some homework, research. We're all just people, and like nobody should be raised to godlike status.
Yeah.
Like it does us all a disservice when we just I saw a lot of that in the election on both sides, and
Mhm.
it's not good. The outcome is never good. The outcome
Yeah.
is never good. We are human beings. We are not God, and we are fallible and
Yes.
have problems.
But I don't know that everybody
all.
believes that, because some people live above us and are not,
Oh,
when you're not held to any sort of accountability, you do see yourself as a little infallible. Your way is the right way and the only way, and you have the ability to enforce it. So the rest of us
Yeah.
just have to hope that he takes care of us. So to
Yeah.
Elon, our new overlord,
We've always been
What
behind
is it
you.
on
we've always been
Um,
behind you. We have never
Right.
spoken ill of you.
No.
No.
like on Megamind or something when they're like, you know, I don't remember the words are. They're like, to our new overlord.
What?
Please
Say
take
that
care of
again.
us. I'm
Because I
not
know
even gonna say it 'cause
Megamind. I
I
love
can't remember what they
Megamind.
say. I do too. What do they say? Roxanne Ritchie does a news report right after he
Anthony will
becomes
remember. Roxanne Ritchie does
yeah,
a news report right after what?
Oh, right after he takes
right
over.
after Megamind. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember. She's like, to our new overlord, like, what do you want? Like, what's the next?
Yes.
Like, what the
To
hell?
Elon. What's
To
the
our new
plan? What's the
overlord.
plan?
What's the new
What is the
plan?
plan? And then, are
And
you ready to join the clone army? Find out at 6.
yes. I love that show.
Robot army.
All right. Well, thanks for, chatting this through with us.
Elon and
think-
it up.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that I would imagine that Trump would probably not love the light that, or the spotlight that's on Musk right now, and that we all kind of are seeing him as like,
Boo-hoo.
yeah, I
Like,
know. I know. Boo-hoo.
It's like there was I forgot
I don't
whose
want
I think
spotlight, stay out of it.
someone said start the trend President Musk, like the hashtag President Musk, because it'll drive Trump crazy because his ego is so big that if he
That's
thinks
true.
that Musk is outshining him, he's gonna shut it down.
I do feel like Musk is outshining him right now. At least in my
Well-
mind, because I'm giving him more thought for sure.
Cody has a shirt from not this past election, but the election before, just, being stupid. And it just says Rogan Musk 20 whatever.
Rogan
Anyway.
Musk. Rogan's kind of like Musk though to me. Like he says a lot of good things, but he has such a huge platform, and he can be a pretty good
Mhm.
spreader of misinformation too.
Mhm. Yeah.
But then here
But-
we are too. We're shooting from the hip. We're just saying whatever. We just don't have a platform. So we could all be,
I
I
think
guess,
the-
deemed that
yeah.
if we just so happen to have the platform, because he should be allowed to
think
say all
talking
his
about things
thoughts
helps.
and stuff like that.
Mhm. Agreed. Freedom of speech is great.
Yes. Yes, it is. Freedom from repercussions to what you say from the general population
Was
is,
never promised.
yeah.
That was not a right.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully they don't take our ability to talk trash on them away.
Right? Trash talking is one of life's greatest joys.
Yeah. All right. Anyways.
It's a great stress relief. But it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Anthony, I'm glad you were here today. You added a
Yeah,
lot.
thanks. It's fun to
Thank you.
join.
Yeah, he's so cute. And tell Cody
back
we're
in-
sad he didn't join, because
We got-
Cody actually has read Elon Musk's book, right? You said?
Oh man, he would have had some good info.
I know I would have learned,
he
I
would
would have
have
a lot of
probably
good to
learned
say.
something.
You know, to ask
He's-
Cody what he would want to come in and chat about, like let him pick a topic so that he'd want to come in and talk. That'd be fun.
He's very camera shy.
But he's so
You're
handsome.
a silly goose.
Oh yeah, no, don't I know it? But
Doesn't he know he's good looking?
I think someone's got a
not the
crush.
problem.
What? It's objective.
Yes,
I could not agree with you more.
right.
Could not agree with you more.
Well,
yeah,
we missed you, Cody.
he's just
And do
not
you know what
one
Elon
for-
Musk's book is about him?
No.
No? Okay. I didn't know if it was like,
No, I have not read it yet.
all right. What?
I should have picked his brain a little more and
Yeah,
found
maybe.
out.
If Cody, if you have any
No.
thoughts, if you're camera shy, put them in the comments. 'Cause
Yeah, like
I want to hear
if
it.
you have anything to say, maybe like record a little video that we could splice onto the end. Like he
Mhm.
might like have some good stuff to say. Like maybe just be a little like just a quick little blurb.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is
If-
my thoughts on it. Like an afterthought.
If he wants to, he's more than welcome, but my guess is he will not. And my
Yeah.
guess is if you say, hey, we want your opinions, it will just say Emily's hot under the thing, and that's all.
That is his opinion.
That's it.
And he's not
But
wrong.
If I can get him to say something, maybe I will.
Yeah. All right. Well, I love you. And I Lilas.
Lilas, always good to talk to you guys.
You
You're
too.
amazing.
All right.
Keep being awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Talk to you later.
And to our future overlord Musk, I bid you adieu.
This is us signing out.
Subscribe up there.
Subscribe.
Just a subscribe up there.
Okay.
Like the button.
Okay.